Hey, welcome back. It is Wednesday, the 16th of October. I think I'm gonna kind of go back to my roots a little bit on this channel for a bit here, meaning Norway, Viking history, culture, that kind of thing. Så for dere som norsk, velkommen tilbake. Det er godt å se dere og ha dere her. For those of you that are Norwegian, it's good to have you back again. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Norway today. So I've told this story before, but I lived in Norway. Well, I was born in Norway. We moved when I was a kid. I was almost 5 when we moved to Canada in 1968. And it was crazy experience. I don't remember a lot of that, obviously. I do remember some stuff in Norway, but it's more like pictures in my mind. It's not so much memories. I mean, I was pretty young. I remember a couple of my cousins when I was little, and I had this best friend, and I remember him. But we went back again when I was 8, so I still spoke the language, and I remember that trip very well. And then we went back again when I was 12 for Christmas. Best Christmas of my life. The Norwegian way of celebrating Christmas, to me, there's nothing better. I won't go into detail here because I have a video about Norwegian Christmas from a year or 2 ago, if you want to go back and check that out. But it was at my grandma's house, bestemor. På norsk heter det bestemor. In Norwegian, grandma is bestemor. Bestemor, I don't roll. Where I'm from, we say our R's down in our throat. And like in the East Coast in Oslo, they more roll their R's. Anyway, so bestemor means grandma. And we spent most of the time there at her house. She lived out in the country. I'm from Stavanger, and Stavanger. And my grandma lived in Hjelmeland, which is not too far. Now you can drive under the ocean through a tunnel to get there. But back then you took the ferry from Stavanger to Tau. T-A-U, it's pronounced Tau. And boy, we loved taking that ferry as kids. It was just the best thing ever. It was like my parents would buy us a blouse. Blouse is pop, B-R-U-S, blouse, Bruce. And they buy us a pop and a candy bar, Norwegian candy bar, Norwegian pop, and it was just heaven. So this ferry ride, I think it was, 30 to 45 minutes, somewhere in there. I've done it a bunch of times, but it's been a few years. And then we drove about 45 minutes from Tau to Hjelmeland. Sorry, I'm going back and forth between languages here. And she lived up above Hjelmeland. Hjelmeland's a fairly small village. It can't be more than, might be a couple thousand people now, but it was smaller than that back then. And my grandma and grandpa lived up above Hjelmeland in a little area called Espeland. And Espeland was their last name. My mom's maiden name is Espeland. My dog I named Espeland. Call her Espa. So they lived just kind of in this area with a few houses, but right outside their house, there was a hill that went down to this creek. And I remember it snowed. So in Norway, you open your gifts Christmas Eve. And I remember on the 23rd, my brothers and I were staying down in the basement, and they had these big picture windows there. And it was, so you could look right out on this incredibly gorgeous scene. And I remember it started snowing, big flakes. And we were so excited because we were like, we don't know how, but we're going to go play in the snow on the hill there. And that next night we got, actually it might have been Christmas Eve that it snowed, now that I think about it, because we got sleds for my grandma for Christmas Eve, for Christmas. And it was just amazing. And we played on that hill. It's one of my best memories ever. So I have 6 siblings, 5 brothers and a sister, but it was us 3 oldest. I'm the oldest, and then Trond is next, and then Leif Magne, he's after that. So us 3 were old enough that I was 12, Trond was 10, Leif was 9. and we just played and played and played on those hills. But I also remember, and I asked my mom about this because I was like, I must be remembering this wrong. There's no way this was happening in 1975. But they actually had real candles on the tree. Of course, they were only lit when people were around, but incredible memory. And then I actually moved back to Norway in 1983, and I lived there for a year and a half. I actually lived in a whole bunch of towns. I was in Haugesund, Drammen, Stavanger, Bodø, Kristiansund. So there's Kristiansund and Kristiansund. Kristiansund is up north. Kristiansund is in the south. Kristiansund is in the north. I was in the north. I was actually up there during the winter. I don't know how people do it. The summer's cool because it's light all the time. But in the winter, we're surrounded by mountains. The sun would kind of peek up over the mountain at like 11:15, and then 2 o'clock it was gone again, because we were not that far from the Arctic Circle. And it was kind of depressing there, actually. That's the only town I didn't enjoy. I lived in Bodø, which is way up north, just south of the Arctic Circle, during the summer. Unfortunately, it rained every freaking day I was there that whole summer. So I didn't really get to see the midnight sun, but it was light all the time. That was kind of cool. So yeah, I kind of rediscovered all my relatives. My mom has 10 siblings. My dad has 4. I've got several dozen cousins, and I got to kind of know a lot of them again. And that was cool, and kind of re-educate myself on the language. I was completely fluent there for a while. My Norwegian's okay now. Like if it's just an everyday conversation, like if I'm telling you the TV's over there, I'd say fjernsynet sitter over there. The fjernsyn is TV. If it's an everyday conversation, I can get along. And yeah, so I got to see a lot of Norway. I just posted on so I have this group on Facebook. If you're interested, it's free. There's no obligation to anything. It's just a Facebook group. It's called Viking Heart Life Social Group. Come join us. And it's a really friendly site. I think there are about 11, almost 1,200 of us on there. Anybody of Scandinavian heritage, connection, whatever, you're welcome. But yeah, I just shared a picture of Preikestolen, the pulpit, which is outside Stavanger, not too far from there, and I've hiked that twice. If you're familiar with the Mission Impossible movie, I think it was Ghost Protocol, but I could be getting that wrong. It was the one that had the guy that plays Superman in it, and Tom Cruise and him actually end up on Preikestolen at the end. I think they say they're in Pakistan, but that's Norway. So when you see that scene where the helicopter falls off and Tom Cruise is climbing down the freaking mountain, that's all Preikestolen there. And he's actually filmed in Norway a couple times. The Empire Strikes Back, the beginning of that was filmed in Norway. So anyway, I'm not gonna keep this video too long, but I'm gonna kind of get back to my roots. If you like the videos, give me a thumbs up, subscription, comment, let me know what you think. Criticisms, compliments, suggestions. I'm always open to whatever. So like I say, this is more of a video diary from me than anything, but it's kind of cool seeing it grow a little bit, and I'll keep working at it. Hopefully I get better and entertaining. So I will go into some more Norwegian stuff on the next video too, and maybe do a dive into Viking stuff after that. So anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I will be back again fairly soon. Peace, love.